Man, what's going on, guys? Carluta here, back with another video on your screen. I'm here with a rising star. Um, Doing so much right now. Andre Showtime, man. Everyone go follow him. Go show him some love. Let him introduce himself. And shoot, bro, tell us all about you.
What's going on, man? My name's Showtime Andre Lamb. I'm from Bermuda. Um, I've been training in Orlando a lot, but I'm based out of Bermuda. I'm 12-0 right now with 7 knockouts, and yeah, I got a few more fights planned this year, so hopefully we can get something going.
Absolutely, bro. So what kind of got you into the sport of boxing? What made you make that move?
For me, it's just like I was just always like interested in sports, really. I played like a lot of sports, like I did geez, tennis, uh, football. I mean, wow, soccer for you guys. Um, Badminton, sailing, cricket. I did almost every sport you could do on this island, and one of my friends was getting ready for like a kickboxing tournament that was happening here in Bermuda, and I was pretty interested, so I just hit him up and I said, where do you train, just so I could come watch. And the place he trained at was called Forty Riga's gym at the time, and that was a boxing gym, but they just went there to work on their hands. So I went up, watched him, and I enjoyed watching the training. Like, so I was like, you know what? After his event, I went to the event and I saw like all the action, like, and I was like, I enjoyed watching like the crowd and how everybody enjoyed the sport. So I was like, I want to see if I could get involved somehow. And I went back to his gym and started training. And I was just naturally just good with my hands, like off rip. Like I had never really been in no fights like that because I was always cool with everybody, so I never really had no reason to fight nobody. But just when I first started, I was already good. Like it was just natural. And from there, I just stuck with it.
Damn, bro, that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah,
I know a lot of people, over the years and stuff like that, they tell me how their stories are, uh,
yeah.
how they found boxing, and then some of them are like, no, I found boxing, boxing didn't find me. It's crazy, bro. 12 and 0 with seven
Thanks.
knockouts.
Yes, sir.
What has been your fondest moment so far that it's always going to be carrying with you right now?
Um, so far, I would say, um, what was last year? 2024. I would say year 2023. That was like probably my biggest year. I had like my first test opponent. I had a few hard opponents before that, but this was like my first on paper. The guy I was fighting was 5-0, and I believe he had 5 knockouts at the time. I was 6-0, and I had 5 knockouts, so we were pretty much like neck and neck. And
Hmm.
he trained with Jalil Hackett. Like they were both in the same camp. Like they both been to like Mayweather's gym, had lots of training and stuff. So this was supposed to be my first test. And I was also fighting for an ABO title, which is from Texas. So yeah, we were fighting for that. And I ended up winning all 6 rounds, like easy. Before the fight, people were warning me, saying, this guy's tough, and like looking at tapes, and people were telling me stuff, and it was supposed to be tough, but and I trained my hardest for that fight, and I went out there, and he just didn't bring his A game. Like I was hitting him with shots and keeping him away. He just didn't. He just cracked under the pressure. Like he just didn't bring it that day. And then after that, I fought another fight in between another test that I hit, which was against I gotta look at my poster, but the guy's name Garcia. He was from Mexico, and he was ranked number 3 in Mexico.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, and I was defending this title against him, and he had like 2 or 3 losses or something like that at the time. I can't remember, but he had a few good wins. Like so, he had fought on the Olympic circuit and things like that. So this was supposed to be another big test, and I think I won 4 rounds to 2 or 4 rounds to 2 on one judge's scorecard, and then 5 rounds to 1 on the other. Yeah, and that was another tough fight. So, in that whole year, like I won the title, and I defended it twice that year. So that was probably my most exciting year so far.
Man, that's wild, bro. You
Yeah.
know, making that like making that transition from Bermuda to Orlando. Um, what do you like about training out in Orlando and fighting in Orlando?
I like that nobody got respect for me. They have respect, but when it comes down to sparring and stuff like that, like everybody's bringing the A game and everybody's trying to do their best. Some guys are getting ready for fights and they're just trying to, do as good as they can. So they're not really worried about me, which is what I enjoy. A lot of times I spar like guys that may not be on my level or maybe coming up and stuff that may be in Bermuda. And when they spar me, like if they find out they hit me with a hard shot or something, or like even before sparring, like they have like a certain respect where they don't want to overstep or try to fight me too hard because they're scared I'm gonna fight them hard back. But that's what I need. So when I go there, these guys are all hungry and everybody's hungry. So I just enjoy that pressure and that change of scenery. And it's so many different styles and stuff out there that it just helps me to broaden my IQ too.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
yeah, I really like that.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Johnny Estella.
Yeah, 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 Johnny.
He told me about you and um, him and his family have been a big help to this channel, for a
Yeah,
couple years now and big shout out to them and Team
yeah,
Estella.
man.
What's next, bro? What would you like to accomplish next in the next like few months?
Well, right now I'm working on scheduling a fight for May, and I got a fight soon after that. I don't want to say the date, but I got a fight soon after that in Texas as well, in Galveston, Texas. Um, And my next fight, I'm fighting for I'm scheduling to fight for 2 new titles. So I'm moving up to 8 rounds, and hopefully in the next 2, 3 fights I'm fighting at 10. But I just want to fight for this regional belt at 8 rounds. Um, and yeah, so my next fight is gonna be for that, and I'm also fighting for it'll be for 2 belts that I fight. I don't want to say what the second belt is yet because I'm not allowed to say, but the second belt's gonna be a bigger belt than the ABO. But ABO's been really good to me, so shout out to them. I'm American Boxing Organization out there in Texas, so um, it's been really good working with them. So I just want to get this next belt from them and move on from that. Move on to bigger thing.
Excellent. So like everything that you have accomplished so far, 12 fights in, um, what would you like to see yourself by this time next year?
This time next year, I hope that I can be like a notable fighter at that point, somebody who's recognized and can be, put in a position for some sort of big fights. Like I want to be like in the rankings to where like if somebody has to fight for a title or something, they gotta fight me or I'm up next, something like that. We got a lot of fights scheduled this year so that I can get to that point. So that's exactly where I want to be. I'm not trying to waste too much time. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And growing up and watching the sport of boxing and watching sports period, what has been your go-to guy that kind of keeps you motivated, like a guy in the sports?
Well, when I started boxing, uh, the two main guys that were like I always heard their names was like Mayweather and Pacquiao at that time. So um, I think at this time Mayweather had just finished fighting Ortiz, and then he was moving on to Showtime boxing to fight Guerrero, and then he started. He had that deal. So
Mhm.
from that point on, like I was watching a lot of his 24/7s, and watching him getting ready for fights and stuff. So Anytime I need motivation or something like that, I just go back to watching those videos, like those 24/7s from when I first started, and that kind of gives me the motivation and takes me back to when I started boxing. So yeah, that and like I said, Pacquiao, um, he was a big influence because I'm Southpaw. So when I started, I saw he was Southpaw too. So I was pretty interested in him. Other fighters like Miguel Cotto and Marquez, like that era right there was like some of my favorite fighters. So, all those guys are like on my top list.
For real. It's like
Yeah,
being a boxing fan, but being more of a wrestling fan about,
yeah,
you know, 9, 8 years ago, 10 years ago.
yeah,
Not really knowing too much about boxing, but always seeing Mayweather fights. Always
yeah,
getting
yeah,
always getting all the criticisms and all
yeah,
the stuff, being a fan of him.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
but it's always good to look back to
yeah,
see
yeah,
his
yeah, for
fights.
sure.
Like I won money on this fight.
Yeah,
Like he did so good in this
yeah,
fight, or he did good in this fight, or he almost got rocked in this fight, but he
yeah,
disappointed, you know?
yeah,
Um, it's always good. But boxing is a crazy sport right now. And
yeah.
um, who is like your top five fighters that you'll look out like that are still active right now?
Active right now. It's kind of tough because it's kind of tough because like the guys I named like Miguel Cotto and Pacquiao and Marquez and um guys like that. I used to like Arislandi Lara too, like and Canelo. Okay, but I would say Canelo right now, like his one of my top guys. I like Tank. I'm not gonna talk about last weekend, but um yeah, I like Tank. Um Crawford, Spence. Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to say some names because like the other guys like either around my age or like close to my age, so I don't really look up to them. I like the way they fight maybe, but like they're in my circle, so I don't really look at them as like people to look up to or learn from. I look at them as like potentials or something like that. So yeah, all
Yeah,
the past greats like that I used to watch growing up, and while I was training, those are the guys I pretty much like, dude. Except and tanking those guys, Canelo, yeah, stuff like
absolutely. How do you
that.
feel about where the sport's at right now in the sport of boxing? I know years ago people were saying that, boxing is dead,
Mm.
dead sport, no one watches it. But to like right now, 2025, how do you feel about where the sport's at?
Um, for me, I think it's getting some pretty good buzz right now, especially with like I know people hating on the YouTube fighters and stuff. Um, you could probably hate on the skills and stuff, but they're bringing new attraction to the sport. I think the way that they're promoting the fights a bit now, like starting to bring people to the sport. Um, you can that's like hot and cold though. Like you can say good or bad about it, but I think it's very much alive. And especially with the promoters over there and where are they doing the fights now over there in uh it's
Where
like in Europe or well
overseas?
yeah, yeah, with the Zen they're doing all those
Like
fights
the
over there and
Riyadh
yeah,
season?
yeah, and I think they're having them like in Dubai and all that type of stuff, like
Yeah,
his trying to bring the sport to a point where like everybody has to fight everybody. He's not trying to make anybody run. Like he's trying to make mandatories have to fight mandatories. So I think that's pretty good for the sport instead of everybody just running from each other and fighting for money now. So I think that's helping the sport out. Just because back in the early days, like those all the top fighters were fighting each other. That's why you had those like great mega fights. Like Pacquiao and Marquez fought 3 times. Like that's iconic. Those are the things you're gonna be looking at for a long time, you know. And just having those fights happen is what makes the sport great, you know. And I like that they're trying to make that happen again. I feel like all the top fighters should be fighting each other at some point. When they get to that level, they should be all fighting each other, you know. But yeah, so I hope that happens from going forward.
For real, for real. I know you said you don't want to talk about the Tank fight, but there's so many other fights that are coming up. Um,
Yeah,
so many big prospects.
yeah.
And what is a dream fight that you would like to see as a boxing fan this year?
Dream fight for this year. I would like to see. I know it's like far off, but because Crawford's calling out Canelo, I would like to see that one. Um, I was gonna say Tank versus Shakur, but Tank's got to run it back with Roach, so I got to see what happens after that one. Um, I do want to see a lot of the young bucks fight each other. So you got like Shakur and Haney, you got Keyshawn and maybe Haney or something like that. You know, those fights right there. But probably Canelo and Crawford right now, like, if it can happen.
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
that they're
yeah.
setting up a big I guess a major fight day.
Mm,
Cinco de Mayo weekend.
yeah.
This is going to be a list of all these fights that are coming up that
Hmm.
it's like three big fights. I think it's like a Rolly versus
Yeah,
Ryan,
yeah, yeah. I saw that.
and
Yeah,
you got Haney versus Ramirez,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ramirez, and then you got Teofimo versus my guy, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I saw that card. It's gonna be a good card.
who do you got in those fights?
Um, I would give Ryan the edge. I think Verl is a wild card though, like you know. So that's gonna be interesting. But I would give Ryan the edge as long as he stays composed and doesn't get caught up in all that crazy stuff that really does. Um, I haven't really looked at Haney and who else was on the card again?
I want to
It's
say it's
Haney.
Ramirez. Ramirez.
Oh yeah, I haven't really looked at any of the undercards after that. I know that they're fighting, but I haven't really like dug deep into it. So yeah, it takes me a minute to come up with like a prediction, but yeah.
And then you got like Teofimo, you know, fighting Barbosa,
Oh
on a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're like he's a mega star. He's starting to make
Yeah.
a lot of noise and he's
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
get his is what wrestling fans call their flowers, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
so it's like those fights are gonna be crazy and then you got, the San Antonio kid, um, Ramon versus Inoue on
Oh
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Vegas.
Anyway is that's a tough fight, dude.
Do you see anyone
These are all good fights, dude.
you see anyone
These are all
breaking
good matchups.
do you see
What's
anyone
that?
breaking down and beating Inoue?
I mean, did he get dropped his last fight?
He's gotten dropped. Not the, I don't think the last fight, the fight before that.
The fight before that,
I
yeah.
think
I mean,
uh,
so that
the
means he can get touched.
yeah,
That
but
means
he
he could
popped,
get touched. What
he
weight he
popped back
fights at?
up and huh?
Yeah, he did. What weight he fought? I mean, yeah, he should. He got dog in him for sure. Dude. Um, and what weight he fights at again?
On
It's like
122.
130, 122, 122. That's tough, man. It's yeah, that's tough. I don't see anybody right now, but we'll see pretty soon, hopefully. But yeah, anyways, been a good fighter. So he's been doing his
Yeah,
thing over there.
it's kind of a nervous fight for me since I know Ramon
Yeah, yeah,
pretty well. Been on this channel for a couple times and seen him win his titles, ranking
yeah,
belt he's gotten. Um, saw him broke the dude's jaw.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Crazy. And I've never seen Inoue live, but since he's always
yeah.
fought in Japan, but this is the first time he's going to be fighting in Vegas, and I think
That's
in
crazy.
since like the COVID, since the bubble that they had over there, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
fought over there.
Okay.
So it's going to be an exciting fight. I'm excited for this
Yeah, that should be a good one there.
next couple of months of boxing. I'm excited to see you back in the ring.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you
yeah.
always bring it, and let everybody know, bro, where they could catch that next fight.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram, Showtime _40. Usually if it's any fights that I got coming up, I can put the links for pay-per-view on it. And like I said, I got a fight coming up soon in Galveston, Texas as well. So if anybody wants to come out to that one, it's gonna be a big venue, so it should be action packed for real.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So if any of y'all out here in Texas, want to go to Galveston, it's not that far of a drive. Go
Hmm.
catch Showtime live, and he's gonna be putting on a show like he always does.
For sure.
And thanks for coming on the channel, bro. It means a
Of
lot.
course, man.
And big shout out to our Stella family. Johnny. Giovanni. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
my brothers, man. They always
Yes,
show me
sir.
love. And thank y'all for always throwing me different fighters, man, that I could interview. It's a wild ride that I've been on, and big shout out to all my sponsors. To name a few, was Rick Moronis, TMB Promotions, big fight coming up March 29th, live at the Tech
Hmm.
Arena Boeing Center here in San Antonio. It's going to be a crazy fight night, and Barrio Made Clothing, always
Hmm.
getting the boy right. And Rock's Discount Vitamins, the best king of supplements in the game today. And Gámez Law Firm, Gámez Law Fights. And everyone go follow Showtime. His links will be in the description down below. It's been an honor to have you on the channel, bro. I look forward to having you back on,
Yeah,
soon.
man.
And maybe we'll do a live one in
Yeah, yeah,
Galveston
yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
for sure, bro. And it's been Showtime. Carlito,
Mm.
one love. We out.